Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as promised, is going to be a look inside how I plan out our gather round units now that we are in the big main units. I'm also going to give you a little peek inside of my planner to kind of show you what that looks like and my thought process behind how and why I plan. I do also want to mention that this video is a continued collaboration of the show and tell series with Abby over at Rooted and Rest and Jessica at the Waldock Way. There are some really great videos in the playlist. So I, of course, will have that linked in the description for you. So when you have completed this video, please go make sure that you follow the link, check out the other videos in the playlist, and give them a like, a thumbs up, something. Let them know that I sent you, and I hope you enjoy watching those videos as much as I do. Let's get into the plan. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through the readings. So let me give you a little bit of background. For those of you who are new, we are just coming out of the Ready to Read series, and so now we are into the main units with Gather Round. That means that the reading in the teacher's guide is significantly more than what we were doing with Ready to Read. So I've had to kind of go through and break up the reading a little bit. That's what I'm going to talk to you about today. And I'm just going to show you how I have put those things together. Now, you could do this with any age range. It doesn't really matter. Here, this is Teacher's Guide. I have gone, just happens to be lesson 8. This I felt like was a good example. So we have our prayer here. This is our reading. As you see, this is on crickets, okay? So I would read this, I read this section. As I go through, you know, if my daughter isn't really responding, I'll kind of ask her a question, or, you know, if we read something that's kind of funny or kind of gross because it's creepy crawlies, then, you know, I'll kind of expand upon that or make some kind of joke or something just to kind of keep her engaged. I will say she does do a pretty good job at listening, and where I kind of cut them off seem to be a good place before I really lose her. So I'll read this introduction section, and then we read crickets here, and then obviously this is just the next page, and I have this small section, and then we have this diagram, okay, of the crickets, and then you'll see here we move on to centipedes and millipedes. So when once I printed this out, I went through before we even started and made these little note card or these little post-it notes. And it says break here and do diagram. So I just stick that before the centipedes, and I know that I'm taking a break after crickets and I'm going to do some sort of diagram. I know what it is because obviously I've gone through both, but it's going to be this cricket diagram. Now we have done this, so you'll see where these have where we have filled these out. Sorry, I have to get there in the student notebook. There we go. So then we go to the student notebook, and here we have the cricket diagram. In the early reader, there's a lot of cut and paste for the notebook, which is kind of nice because it gives her something to do with her hands. So instead of just taking a break and just writing something really quick, or just circling something, it actually has her cutting and pasting. So I do like that. So we do the diagram, okay? And now we're going to move on to centipedes and millipedes. But I've written myself a note that says break again before wolf spider and do Venn diagram on page 55, okay? So I will read centipedes and millipedes. So this and this section are all the centipede millipede section. So a little bit of a heavier reading, but we just got to do the cut and paste, and we're back focused on centipede and millipede, so not too bad. Okay, so we read that, and this one So this was the page we originally were starting on. This was our first page for, what is this, lesson 8. This is the notebooking page. In this particular page, there's nothing about centipedes and millipedes, which is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the insect that we're going over in the teacher's guide. I'm looking for something that correlates with that, because that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. However, on this page, there wasn't anything for centipedes and millipedes, but I went to lesson 2, or I'm sorry, not lesson 2. I went to page 2, and it's actually this entire Venn diagram between centipedes and millipedes. So this was really, really great because we had a larger section, and I got to take a break. We got to kind of go over a Venn diagram. What does it mean? All of that stuff. And then she got to cut and paste and all of that. So this was actually really great. Another thing I want to point out, it doesn't really do anything for us because I only have one student, but if you have multiples, you get this little alert to appear, same page alert. And so if you have students that are in different levels of the student notebook, you get this same page alert. So you could take a break after centipedes and millipedes for everyone, and everybody can go do their Venn diagram. Then you could come back and then continue your reading and, go on to the next thing. So just something I wanted to point out because I do think that's really helpful. And this is a good spot to kind of take a break. It seems that the millipede and centipede is about halfway between the lesson. And so it's kind of a natural place to take a break. On my list here, or on my notes, it says break again before wolf spider. Yep, so we just did that and we just completed the Venn diagram. Now, and another thing that I want to point out, we now have our second page of 5 pages. We have 5 pages that are completed per lesson. We've got one of them it's done. We don't have to do anything else with it because that was the Venn diagram. And we've gotten some things done on our first page already. So we only have 3 pages left now and we haven't even gotten done with the teacher's guide. So just something else to consider or to think about, if you are considering doing something like this. So now we're on to wolf spider. So I read this section here. And the nice thing with this one, which I have seen quite often, is it's really just a page of some fun facts. And so I will hold this one up and I'll have my daughter look at it and I'll point to and just kind of get her engaged with the page so that it doesn't seem like I'm just talking and talking and talking. I've got things to point at. So we'll go through that. And then there's this small little ending here. And then now this is your list to move on to the next thing. So that's the end of this lesson. And then if we look back on our notebook page, it gives us a section here. She was supposed to circle, but she didn't. She drew lines, not a big deal. So she just connected those and then write or dictate. And this one was I still wonder. Obviously she just told me and I wrote it down. And then she loves to go through and pick out a fact for the bug jar. And then that is it for the reading. Then we'll just move on and complete our next 3 pages. All right, so before I flip the camera around, I do want to just let you guys know, I do use the Mardel A Simple Plan Planner. I do actually have a full flip through of this that's kind of entertaining. So I will leave that in the iCards and down in the description for you if you want more of a detailed look at the planner. But for the sake of this video, I'm not going to be going through everything. I'm really just going to kind of show you what I do as far as record keeping and things like that. So anyway, I will flip you guys around here and give you a peek inside. Okay, again, I use the Mardel A Simple Plan Planner. So real quick, I will show you guys kind of how I kind of plan this out. This was wishful thinking, and this is actually not what we do at all. So this doesn't really count, but I do down here at least have our subjects and the curriculum that we're currently using. And I have my yearly overviews here that I have kind of gone through. Basically, all I've done is mark Christmas for Bible, and we are currently working through a Content Heart, the Not Consumed Bible Study. Everything that I can link for you guys, I will have linked in the description, so that will be in there. But that's really all that I have planned out. And as you see, it is in pencil because it very well could change. That's why this has not changed, because I didn't write it in pencil. I just wrote it in pen. So anyways, moving on. So here we have our Gather Round unit. So we are currently in the Creepy Crawlies unit, and we are doing lessons, one lesson a day. So we are doing for the first week, it's lessons 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15, and then 16 through 20. I am going to give 1 week off between units. Now, on our off weeks, we still will do our math, we'll still do morning basket, all that stuff. We will just be taking a week from Gather Round off, and then we will pick back up. So you see here, I have the lessons kind of planned out to give me kind of an idea of the layout, but I don't know what unit we're going to do because we like a little spontaneity. And so once we get to like week 3, week 4, we'll figure out which one my daughter wants to do next. And then that's the one I'll purchase, print off. I'll kind of get things used this week for prep week, and then we'll be ready to go. And so I've just kind of moved along like that. We do have an off week prior to starting our Christmas unit. I have planned 3 weeks for the Christmas unit. It is only 12 lessons, so that just gives us plenty of time. I don't want to rush through it like we did last year. So I just left plenty of time there before we take an actual full week off for Christmas. We will do nothing for the full week of Christmas. No math, no morning basket. Of course, we'll do reading and things like that, but no school that week. Then we move on to math. This could very well change. I still am back and forth on math, but yes, so this is all penciled in. Right now we are doing a rotation. So the first week we did Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Second week we did Tuesday, Thursday. And we'll just kind of continue that along for now. So I'm going to move back here to August, to our current month. These are just our overview sheets. This is my planning sheets. And then here we are into my actual record keeping. So fun fact, I do reverse record keep. So I only fill out the things that we actually get accomplished that day. So as of the recording of this video, it is not quite September yet. And you see I have nothing written down here because we're not there yet. It seems to work well for us. It takes a lot of the stress off of me. We have a daily rhythm and a daily flow, and that just seems to work best for us to just write down what we're able to get in that day. So this was before we moved into main units. We took this week off before we went into Creepy Crawly. And then this was Creepy Crawlies, okay? So, and again, you see here, we did not have math because I didn't know what we were gonna do. So we didn't do math this week. But just as we complete things, I'll write them down. This is something that I read in Morning Basket. This is what she read in her quiet time or her 15 minutes of reading. If it has an A, that just means that we actually listened to that as an audiobook. If you have not started audiobooks, I highly suggest it. Have no idea why I waited so long, but love audiobooks. And then this is our current week. And as you see, this day we got a lot more reading in. So that was great. This day we didn't. We only got 1 in. Here I use just for extra things. We were working on spelling here. We were able to get that in, so I just wrote it in for that day, and we just move along. Now, I do want to go over a couple other things that I use or that maybe could be useful for you when you are planning. Some things that I do. So on Amazon, I will create a list for each unit that we are covering. So for us, we have Creepy Crawlies, we have Artists, Transportation, Farming and Food, Easter, and Christmas. And we're probably gonna throw dinosaurs in there. So I just went ahead and put the dinosaurs unit on my Amazon list because I'm quite sure we're gonna throw that in there as well. Anyways, so what I will do as I'm just perusing through Amazon, or if I'm looking for something in particular and happen to come across something that I feel would be good for any of those units, I'll just go ahead and add it to that list. And that will help me keep track of what I've got in there. I will put games, I'll put puzzles, I'll put books, anything that I feel like would be a good addition for that unit, I'll just put it in there. That way, one, it doesn't get lost, and two, I can actually see what the cost of all of those additional resources are, and I can make adjustments as I need. If I don't really have enough books, but I've got too many games, I'll kind of switch them out. So I really love using the Amazon list for that reason, because then I have a little bit of leeway, and it just feels really fun to come across something cool and be able to add it to a list. And yeah, so that's one thing that I have found really helpful for me. The other thing that I will do also is if I come across books, I just have a list for homeschool books, and I'll just stick books in there, all kinds of books, all the books. And sometimes I will take that list and I'll have it open on a tab, and I'll go to Book Outlet and I'll try and compare the two, see which books I can find on Book Outlet, compare the prices, all of that kind of stuff. And that has helped me save quite a bit of money because Book Outlet is, I find fantastic deals there. So that's something else that you can do as well to kind of help you plan for the year, but be able to stay within whatever budget you have allotted for your homeschool year or unit, or however you work that out. And just another tidbit on Book Outlet, what I will do also is I will create a sticky note, because apparently sticky notes for everything. And I will write down all of the things that I'm looking for books for, and I will go through and just tally as I find things that fit those different units. Or like I have a section for fall and winter books because I feel like you can never have too many. I have our baskets. If you follow us, you know that we actually use 2 baskets, a wake up basket and a morning basket. Again, I'll leave that one in the iCards and the description if you want to check that one out. But that gives me a lot of places to get books. But it also can be a little overwhelming, and I have found that at different times I can find better books for one unit versus the other. So to help me kind of keep track without having to pull everything out of my library every time, I actually keep this sticky note stickied to my computer, and just every time I get a book, I'll make a tally that's specific to that unit. Now, of course, I'll get sometimes I'll get books that we just enjoy and that are fun, that aren't really specific to anything. I don't keep track of those. But if there's anything in particular that I have for a specific use, then I'll keep track of it here. Right before I end this video, I just want to thank you all for following along with us. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining me today. If you would like to come hang out with me and enjoy more homeschooling content and books and all of the things, I would love to have you. if you would just hit the subscribe button. For those of you who have been good to me already and you already follow me, thank you so much as always for watching, and I will talk to you soon.